All right,
Oh,
and we're live. It's been so long since I've talked to you guys.
Yeah.
it's been a 2-week long week.
Yeah, at this point, it's just the bi-weekly Hims podcast because we don't do this weekly.
Yeah.
It feels like every time there's a week where there's no news, and then we have the next week where there's 15 pieces of news, and then it's like, well, shit, we
Yeah,
could have.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I mean,
So-
compared to other companies, Hims I feel like has way more news than most. I mean,
yeah, no, it's still better to talk about because most don't have like SoFi Weekly was just at some point just became dead because it just didn't have news. Like I remember I used to watch all the time, and then it just like kind of died because it became FinTech Weekly because SoFi didn't have enough news. But anyway,
yeah. So SoFi ended red today, man. L SoFi, but it's all right. Hims on the other hand closed
End
above
red.
$60 a share.
well, it's red now from this
Did
morning.
not end red. Yeah, it's red now, but like it didn't end.
I mean, whatever, same thing. It's red.
Yeah, from yesterday to today, it's red. How about that?
Okay. Well, hello.
But anyways, this is the Hims Weekly, not the SoFi Weekly.
Yeah, Hims fell to 56, and then it just passed. It shot past 60 again, which is I'd love to see it.
Dude,
But-
this thing does not want to stay below 60. I don't understand. It's nuts. Like
Dude,
the fact that we've had all of this, like the past 2 weeks, we've had FDA FUD, Novo FUD, and it just every single day, just the buying pressure is immense.
But really quick though, I mean, technical Tevis, he pulled up the charts.
The
You
gap,
just saw
the
the
gap.
the gap,
The
must
gap
go.
has been filled.
Thank you.
So
You guys make fun of me, but
Imagine the gap actually does fill. That'd be
hey,
a lot.
Charlie, welcome.
this is
I
financial
think-
advice from Tevis. The gap
This-
always fills.
Is not financial advice, but usually it always. And by the way, guys, for those 22 of you that have joined early, there is a gap in SoFi right now at around the $19 range. My price target for end of week was $19.50. So I'm just saying.
You did, yeah. You were the bear.
I'm counting
I,
sheep
I,
over
I
here.
was the bear.
All right, what's the first? We want to go back. Start with the latest, I guess, technically, like what happened last week, and then work our way forward, and then take Q2.
You guys are running the show. I'm a guest here.
No,
Oh, we're
no.
running the show now, huh?
Yeah,
Tevis is the alpha. He calls the shot.
running this show. Let me go into. By the way, thank you, Elijah, for putting up a actual itinerary.
Thank you for recognizing me for once. I appreciate that. You
All
make
right.
fun of me for writing one cash secured put. You say I'm dead weight. Not anymore. I'm productive, Pete. I'm gonna bring all the posts I can, all the quality content I
Dr.
can.
Pete.
New vice president of AI. We talked about this last time, so first point doesn't even count.
I don't think so. No, this is different.
No, we
Yeah.
definitely talked about
No,
it.
we talked about the CPO.
Yeah,
Last time.
Tevis.
Oh, sorry, I
Yeah.
talked about it with Roy. Sorry.
Oh, your other friend. Got it, dickhead.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
like,
It's
yeah, go ahead.
cool. Yeah, I think it's cool. I am curious though. It just seems like the CTO is just pulling all of his buddies at this point because that's the
Yes.
third or second cruise hire. And
Yes.
so I want to see what the CTO has to say on the earnings call if they do ask him questions. Just see what he's like, because at this point, all we know is just hiring his buddies, and like they're all from Cruise, and I have been seeing, Cruise technically did fail. It is extremely complicated, obviously, subject matter, but they still didn't work out. And so I'm just curious to see the CTO's mindset, what he's like, how he's thinking. And so I hope they ask him some competent questions that he can give some good answers to on the earnings call, so we can see his like roadmap and just hear what he has to say, so we can actually see if the hires are worth it or are going to be good for what we're looking for, right? So
Yeah, because they've been on quite the hiring streak. I mean, that's their second cruise hire. They had, was it the COO from Amazon? Who was it from? They got from Amazon.
COO from
Yeah,
Amazon,
yeah.
but the chief
CPO from Robinhood.
Robinhood, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Hims is building quite a team. What you don't see, I'm glad we don't, but like, look at Meta, for example, spending these hundreds of millions of dollars on these AI engineers. I mean, that's quite insane. But we are getting these, in
That's
my
not
opinion,
insane at all.
valuable members. What'd you say?
First of all, that's not insane at all. Meta is going to earn back what all of those people are going to do with a big multiple on top of it.
well, yeah, it's not insane for Meta, but it's insane relative to like every
That's
other
what I'm
business.
saying. Yeah.
They're
For him
making,
to
they're
turn around,
making MLB level contracts, which
The
is
game-
insane,
The game
but
has
it's going to pay
changed.
off for sure.
The game has changed. There is an increased amount of scarcity in the AI world, and you need to compete for top talent. And it's a buyer's market essentially. Like
I did account though that I think this quarter we'll see higher dilution, but we'll get into it. I think we'll see a lot more stock based.
Okay, so here's the thing on the VP news. So HIMSS has their chief technology officer who came from Cruise, and it applies to all of their C-suite that they now put in place. Every single C-suite member is going to bring over their own team. This is incredibly common. I've done it with my teams. Whenever I've joined a new company, I've brought over my own people. Because you want people that you can trust, people that have been there, done that, people that you have rapport with, and people that, like, if I have high pressure and I have a lot of my compensation in stock on me to reach certain targets, I'm not going to, first of all, waste so much of my time trying to hire new people. Like, that is such an exhausting process, and it's actually costly. And then secondly, I'm not going to waste a lot of my time trying to build that rapport from the ground up. I'm just going to bring on somebody that I've worked with in the past. And in many cases, like, I have been like the +1, let's say, to other leaders that have joined organizations. Like, it's been a package deal, and I've had other people be my +1 to organizations that I've joined as a leader. And so it's incredibly normal. And I think that the VP is then going to hire his own like 2 or 3 lieutenants that are like directors that are from Cruise or from previous experiences. And it's all a trust thing. Like, you want to be able to have worked with the people in the past so that you already have that rapport established.
Yeah, my only worry is just I'm just curious. Like, we don't even know what the CTO is like. I'm assuming they wouldn't hire someone that doesn't fit the roadmap, but I'm just, because he just is continuing, because I think he hired 2 VPs actually. One last week and one like a month ago, or maybe even 3 weeks ago. That was a little more under the radar that I saw on LinkedIn. And so I'm just kind of curious to see the CTO's vibe, his roadmap, the culture he kind of brings, and just his mindset, because that's important for me. And I invest in management, so
that's one of those points where you just have to trust management.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I trust Andrew.
I guess what I was saying, like, with the crazy thing is, I mean, we assume the Zava acquisition was around 300 million. I mean, Meta is handing that out to individual people to come join their team. So I think that would be like, HIMSS acquires Zava for 300 million. HIMSS, let's just make this up, acquires AI engineer from Meta for 300 million. It's like, holy cow! Like, we can acquire a business for the same price as this employee, which is insane to me. But I agree with you, that person at Meta will bring that value and way more. So
you're thinking about it the wrong way. He's not getting duffel bags filled with cash delivered to his door. He's getting stock. And Meta is like a trillion, multi-trillion-dollar company. That if Meta jumps 10% because their AI is better than the next competitor's AI as a result of these 5 or 6 engineers, then all of a sudden they've made $100 billion, let's say, in market cap. Off of what? Off of a collective $1 billion that they spent on all these engineers. It is a steal of a deal because it's all stock at the end of the day, and they're leveraging their size.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All executives get paid on stock. There is no executive that's dumb enough to take cash compensation and get taxed up the ass about it. Like, they all take share-based comp. And so even for HIMSS, like, how do you think they convince the chief product officer of Robinhood? First of all, she got a promotion because she was a VP at Robinhood. And now she's the chief product officer at HIMSS. So that's one thing, like, she can build a career there. The second thing is that, like, you sell the potential of the stock to increase over time, to appreciate, so that their shares appreciate as well. It's the same for the AI engineer at Meta. It's the same for whoever's on the leadership team at HIMSS. It's just different multiples, different zeros at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that. Do you guys want to move into Novo earnings, or do you guys want to go over the study results that was released today, or was there any news last week?
I think in between, the biggest piece was the lawmakers press to the FDA. That happened like last Thursday. If you want, I can share my screen and we can walk through it.
Sure, let's do that, Nate.
Cool. Yeah, let me share my screen. Boom. Oh, don't show these tips again. All right, we can see it, right? Please.
Did not.
Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm stupid.
I have no clue how to work StreamYard.
Silly man. All right, might do a little. Now we can see it, yeah.
There we go.
Walk us through this news, Nate.
Show us a search history, Nate.
So I don't want to do that. I think it was last Friday, as we can see down here. Idiot. Lawmakers press FDA to target knockoff weight loss drugs. So I think this has happened last week, right before. I think it was like almost to the what was it, the $60 exactly, nearly, like literally like $59.95 or something,
Yeah.
and then boom, this press was released. But essentially, on Friday, a group of more than 80 bipartisan lawmakers asked the U.S. FDA to stop counterfeit and copyright versions of GLP-1 drugs like Wegovy and Zepbound, literally Hims' exact market. And they're just kind of highlighting we're concerned about recent reports revealing a surge in illegal and counterfeit anti-obesity medications, and kind of the list goes on and on. Essentially, just in my opinion, another scare tactic by Novo and a few other like Eli Lilly and stuff like that. I think we also saw one of the people vouching for this.
Yep.
Their donors is Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, and stuff like that. And so to me,
Yep.
it seems like a direct attack from Novo and Eli Lilly, and sort of just another way to get around having to sue them to try and scare them and saber rattle them, essentially.
But someone from Hims, didn't they have a statement about this, supporting them looking into that?
Yeah, I think. Do you have that tweet?
Yeah, I'm looking. I sent it in the group chat. I'm just trying to like resend it that way you don't have to go digging for it. Oh wait, yeah, here it is right here. I just sent it to the group chat. It's a screenshot of the article. I believe the article's yahoo.com.
Yeah, so the quote is, quote, "We support the bipartisan call for the FDA to crack down on counterfeit and illegally sold weight loss drugs," said a Hims and her spokesperson. "We appreciate lawmakers' recognition that legitimate compounded medications dispensed by state-regulated pharmacies are not counterfeit. Patient safety must always come first." Like, that's a boilerplate legal type of statement. Yeah. It's nothing that's going to give you any type of meaningful insight. At the same time, like, I think the associations are very clear. This is not the first, nor will it be the last time that Big Pharma has tried to bully a smaller competitor by throwing their weight around. And that weight can come in the form of a partnership dissolution. It can come in the form of, pressuring lawmakers through lobbyists to get their way. But I just think that, and especially with the news that we're going to jump into with regards to Novo, like, they're going to be in desperation mode way more tomorrow than they were yesterday.
Yeah, and I tweeted right before this, like, at this point, I'm sort of just sick and tired of hearing about this GLP-1 drama. It's like, guys, like, you know what you're investing in when you buy Hims. Like, you know it's a battleground stock. You know they're trying to galvanize and eat the healthcare industry's lunch. It's like, what do you expect when you're trying to eat their lunch? Like, there's gonna be battles. Like, there's gonna be lawsuits. There's gonna be litigations. There's gonna be lobbying. I'm just kind of sick of Hims shareholders being like, "Oh my god, another hit piece." It's like, can we just get over this?
Yeah.
Can we just move on? I mean,
when you have a young disrupting company like Hims disrupting such a huge industry like healthcare, it's also really corrupt, if we're being honest. It shouldn't surprise anyone to see litigation threats or other, like I said, press releases. Like, all these politicians that want to call for the look into the GLP-1s and the compounded semaglutide, like, and then they have the donations. It's just all so corrupt, really, at the end of the day. But Hims is going to succeed, and we'll talk a little bit more about it whenever we go into Novo earnings. Because I have a take. I actually just posted it on X, but I'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, look, I think it happens in every industry, man. Like, I faced this, not to bring up SoFi again, but I faced this with SoFi for years, because what would happen was it's a smaller, like, bank, and they're stealing market share. And then you would have analysts from literally their competitors, larger banks, downgrade them. And then you would look at the institutional ownership, and that same bank on that same day when they downgraded purchased. And I think my camera is about to die.
Deep breaths, Evan. We can carry the show, man. We don't need you.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
you have a face for radio anyway. No, yeah, I totally agree. And I think I saw a tweet today saying that Hims has been spending more on lobbying themselves. I think they went from 230,000 last quarter to 310,000 this quarter for telehealth, compounded medicines, quality, and safety manufacturing. So it seems like they're also lobbying on their side as well to try and fight this as much as they can, being the little guy. We had Tevis. I don't know if you know, I actually used to own SoFi for like 3 years, so I'm used to the dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't own it anymore.
Nope. Nope. I sold it like 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Nice. I
For
mean,
him.
great
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he turned around and made 80% on his Nvidia shares in 3 months. Insider, man. He's an insider.
Don't need to bring that up.
That's
But yeah. Anyway, do we want to hop to the Nova news? I feel like that's
sure.
the biggest-
Yeah. So Nova reported earnings, and they completely tanked. Do one of you have the actual?
I have the press release if you want me to pull it up.
Well, yeah. Just throw that up.
Share my screen. Yeah. Let's go. All right. See it?
Okay. Cool.
Cool. You want me to read and you just follow?
Yeah. Maybe zoom a little bit, and then
Let me. That better?
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So Novo Nordisk stock crashes. We all knew that, but essentially it crashed 21% from this morning's earnings. They gave a preliminary guidance, right?
Which is, by the way, their biggest single day largest drawdown in
I
company.
didn't know that.
history.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Wow.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. But yeah, they cut its expected full year sales growth to 8 to 14% from a midpoint of 17%. So they basically dropped their midpoint growth down 7%, almost in half
Mhm.
for a full year. The company also said it now expects operating profit growth of 10 to
And by the way,
16%.
this was the second guidance cut in a row.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they cut it last quarter too.
Right. And so I can keep reading, but Novo
Please.
Novo Nordisk attributed the estimate cuts to weaker than expected second half sales. Forecasts for both Wegovy and Ozempic, as the company has had to fend off competition from rivals in copycat compounded drugs. For Wegovy in the U.S., the sales outlook reflects the persistent use of compounded GLP-1s, slower than expected market expansion, and competition. The company said in a statement, for Ozempic, the updated outlook is negatively impacted by competition in the U.S. So, clearly, this is directly targeting the people like Hims and Rowe and Noom. And so initially, once this was released from Novo, we saw Hims down, I think, 4 or 5%. And then I think as people started to digest it throughout the day, the stock went up 2 or 3%. So like an 8% move in a day, as it does. Sorry, I cut you off, Elijah. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I just think it's very interesting, ironic, and irresponsible how a 300 billion, I mean, not anymore 300 billion, but a 300 billion pharmaceutical giant like Novo Nordisk blaming their financial shortcomings on a $13 billion company like Hims. The same company they were partnered with about a month ago, and they ended the partnership. So
that's the funniest part too.
Yeah, it's very weird to see a company at this size blame a company so small like Hims. And I think what we're witnessing is honestly just a classic tale of disruption, truthfully. And another big shift that I think we're seeing, and I posted this on X. This is what I was going to bring up today, but I think we're seeing a big shift of power. So the power is no longer with the company that owns the supply. The power is now in the company, in this case, Hims and Hers, that offers a variety of supply options. Hims and Hers, they can offer Wegovy. They can offer Ozempic. They can sell compounded GLP-1s. They can offer an oral solution. And that's ultimately the future of healthcare, in my opinion, is the Hims and Hers health platform. So you're going to have this platform that can offer you a variety of treatments. Ultimately, you're going to get put on the one that is best for you, less side effects. Maybe it fits your budget more friendly. Maybe you don't like injectables. You want to do the oral way. Hims can offer all of that. So I think it's just a rude awakening for Novo. I think they're realizing their moat is not as strong as it was, and Hims is going to really succeed.
I will say on that, I think the fact that it's shifting to the platform rather than supplier is problematic and does increase lawsuit risk and does increase more litigation in the future because, and I saw a tweet earlier that I sort of agree with that. Novo is the one putting in all of the risk, doing the studies, putting in all of their money, and they're not reaping the rewards, right? And so that's not going to last forever. Like there's going to be a cut down somewhere. Something's going to happen somewhere where, it's going to benefit Novo in some aspect, I think.
Yeah.
And
I think-
because they're backed into their corner, because they're crap in the bed every earnings, like they're going to become more and more. They're going to lash out more and more and become more and more.
Yeah, and I think if
egregious.
HIMS was only a pure platform, then Novo would work with them, Lilly would work with them,
Yep.
everybody would work with them because it's just distribution at that point. But HIMS is not only a platform; like they're their own
Right.
supplier from the compounded GLP-1 side. And so I think that like if you abstract away the suppliers, then there's no incentive for them to keep investing in R&D, and they're way too big to let that happen because their sunk cost is massive at this point. Like Novo's drawdown today was 5 times HIM's entire market cap.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
insane.
perspective. I do think, though, I'm curious to see what Lilly says, right? Because if Lilly comes out and goes, "We're doing just fine. Our GLPRs are great," then to me it seems like it's just a product fit,
Well,
right? And so
that's
tirzepatide is a better product than Wegovy.
Yeah, I mean that's
or is
interesting.
that bound?
Wegovy is losing market share, and like Mounjaro is gaining market share, others are gaining market share, and so it could just be a Novo problem.
Yeah, but I will be. I think lawsuit risk will be much higher if Lilly also comes out and says we're lowering our guidance because of GLP-1 compounder. If it's both of them, then to me it's more of a compounder issue. But if it's we see Lilly's like, oh, we're doing fine, and it's still Novo that's shit in the bed, I think then, I mean, it's just that's more of a management issue, right? Like I think the lawsuit risk goes down a little bit in my opinion if that happens. I do think overall from this though, I think they're backed more in a corner. I do think even if it went up a little bit, I think you went from 20 to 30% now of lawsuit risk or something like that, right? So
I agree with that comment.
Yeah, Nick says the aggregator always wins.
yeah, like you kind of said too, like they're too big to fail, right? Like not too big to fail, but they put in too much money and pretty much too big to fail. They have too many politicians in their corner. They have too many lobbyists. They have too much money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, too big to
I
fail.
don't think Novo's going to fail. I don't think Eli Lilly's going to fail. I think they're going to do just fine. I guess I'm just arguing that HIMS is going to do exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Just because you're going to be able to
better.
offer so many treatments, not just the compounded, not just the the commercial generics, but a variety of options. And it's going to be so personalized that you're going to be in the one that's best for you. So
I think the thing that's most overlooked in this whole thing is just how instrumental Makary was to this entire situation. Like having Marty Makary come in with the background that he has and the stance that he has towards compounders was the best thing that could have ever happened to HIMS it's only going to be evident now when shit's hitting the fan from a Novo and Lilly perspective that they're kind of getting more desperate, let's say, that they could be prone to making some rash actions. Like having somebody who is favorable to smaller compounders is fantastic, right? And then you also have to layer into that like some tariff risks as well, right? Like Trump is talking about pharma tariffs. He tweeted about that yesterday, and Novo is like a European company, right? So there's also that aspect to also keep in mind, because HIMS is a US company, it wouldn't really affect HIMS to that same degree.
So I think we can all agree that litigation risk is higher after seeing these earnings and hearing what management said, correct?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Why do you think we haven't seen a lawsuit yet? I mean, knock on wood, but why haven't we seen a lawsuit yet? In y'all's opinion?
I think I actually agree, and Roy's touched on this a little bit. I think Novo also wants to see how HIMS reports. If they come in the call and Andrew's like, we're going to keep compounding, we're going to, not say they found loopholes, but say we're going to keep compounding because they found loopholes.
Yep.
I feel like that gives Novo bigger action to take. And if HIMS comes in and somehow crushes it because of some sort of compounding they've been doing and personalization with it, I don't know. I think Novo's waiting to see how HIMS reports and how they kind of talk about it. If they come in with more of like a modest approach, like, yeah, we're still doing it only for personalization and when it makes sense and aren't aggressive about it, I think it's harder for Novo to kind of come in. But I think if Novo sees HIMS like diving in, in even more and Andrew taking an aggressive approach, I think they're gonna.
The thing you have to keep in mind,
a little bit.
What you have to look out for that will really increase the lawsuit risk is if other compounders use the same loopholes that HIMS is using to compound en masse, because then it becomes a systemic problem, regardless of like it's not tethered to one, company anymore, that's when you're going to get a lawsuit to at least disambiguate away the gray area that currently exists.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, is gray area. Whenever semaglutide came off a shortage, I talked about it a while ago, but we knew if Hims continued to sell these compounded solutions, you're going to get a big litigation risk on the table. So big of a risk that I was actually on the boat where I said they should just quit with compounded semaglutide altogether because it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what management says. Like you said, I'm curious if Andrew's more like, we're being very, let's say, conservative, and we're not just mass producing. So we'll see what they say. I'm confident in management's ability. You know what I mean? They're not gonna. I don't see them just walking themselves into a big lawsuit and getting them in a bunch of trouble. I don't see that happening. I think management's a lot smaller than that. But
and on that, I think people forget that they have a former FDA deputy commissioner on their board for the past. That was his commissioner for like 15 years.
Yeah.
So like they have someone in their background saying, this is playing on the edge a little bit. And I think another thing to comment on too that we've been seeing is, I don't know about you guys, but I saw a tweet that there are a few 503B facilities are ramping back up into production. And so I think Novo might also be curious to see, like, what is Hims going to talk about that? Are they going to mention it? Are they going to explain? Because I saw a loophole that 503Bs can sell to 503As, and that's the loophole of how you can compound, stuff like that. And so I think they're waiting to see what happens with that too. I think Novo needs something definitive to be able to attack Hims, and right now they have nothing. But I think they're just playing the patient game and waiting for Hims to fuck up and make a mistake, and then they're going to go in and be like, oh, they did some illegal loophole or whatever, right? So I think right now, though, the fact they haven't sued means they haven't found something they think is worth their time.
If they had a slam dunk case, they're not a charity. They would have sued already.
Right.
And I also agree with this comment. Like, they also have a lot more to lose in a lawsuit than Hims does. Like I said before, like, just their decline today was 5 times Hims' market cap. So, like, if there's anything that puts their business even more at risk, like, they're already with their back against the wall with their own guidance, let alone, whatever might come out of this legally speaking.
Yeah.
So when semaglutide becomes a generic, it's might be kind of a dumb question, but how do you think Hims is going to capitulate on that?
They're going to
cross post and cross sell it.
Yeah, they're going to sell the crap out of it once it becomes generic.
I know they're taking that route in Canada because they can do that a lot sooner in Canada, correct? That's what they're doing?
Yeah. But I think for for Wegovy, it's like the patent is like 2028 or 2030. So like that won't be generic for a long time. Whereas in Canada, it's like, start of 2026.
Yeah. I just think it's just very, very interesting how I feel like we've had this lawsuit stormy cloud above us for a little while. Tevis made a post, I think the day that we had that announcement, he said, I'll give it 2 weeks or 3 weeks before we see a lawsuit. And I agreed. I agreed
too.
If they had the case, I feel like they would do it. But right now, I feel like they obviously don't have the case yet. And like you said, they could just be playing the patient game. I'm not sure. Yeah. I actually think the post that Hims put out today that showed that study they did on personalized GLP-1s.
No, let's hop into that. Do you have the press for it?
Well, just last thing I'll say is, like, there's one of two things that could be happening. The first is that they just don't have the case and they don't have a leg to stand on. The second is they have a case, but they don't want to take on that risk of potentially, like, that case is not, a slam dunk. And why would they expose themselves to that risk of it going the wrong way? And so it could be one of those two things. And they could just either be waiting for a moment in time when the case strengthens, or a moment in time when they become desperate enough that they don't care and they're going to go through with it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But go ahead, I'd like to hop in. I think it's funny that they posted this white paper the morning of Novo cutting their guide.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they're like, that was pretty. I'm not gonna lie, that was like great.
I feel like both sides are intentionally just playing like in the background, like, all right, let's drop this press release.
Yeah,
Hims about the 60. Let's drop this FDA, lawmakers press.
You just had dog shit earnings. FU. Here's a study showing the benefits of our solution. You know what I mean?
You would be foolish not to believe that Andrew and the rest of the team took it personally when Novo is literally publishing it to the world before giving them a heads up that they're dissolving the partnership.
And then they called it like they almost called him like criminal. Like the way they phrased it was just unbelievably unprofessional.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
So
go ahead, Elijah, hop in.
Throw up or okay.
Are you wanting me to toss up the?
I don't know what are we going to toss up the study and
yeah, that's what I was trying to do, but I'm not really sure how to share screens and shit.
I can share the graphic.
Okay, yeah, share that.
I don't have the study, but I can
share Andrew's post.
Yeah, that's what I was going to share.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I have the study right here, so I can just share the study.
Okay, go for it.
And I think I have Andrew's post as well. Okay, so let me just share this. So this is from their newsroom. Personalized GLP-1 plans drive real weight loss, few side effects, and strong adherence to care. This came out today, obviously, and they basically did this study where they were measuring the efficacy of these models. And the findings are just as you would expect if you've been following Hims for the last little while. The personalization not only helps drive significant weight loss, but it also lowers side effects. So here they say that customers lost an average of 20.9 pounds or 10.3% of their initial body weight in 6 months. Among these same customers, only 10.3 reported side effects and an even smaller 4.5 reported intolerable side effects, which is actually like some pretty great rates to have. Among those who completed a 6-month check-in, 97% of customers on plans with compounded GLP-1s reported an improvement in their overall health. And it goes on to say that, 75% of the customers remained with their treatment plan within 6 months, 97% overall health improvements, and very, very few side effects. This was a white paper that was published earlier today. So, I mean, you could read the full white paper. I have it here on my other tab. I was just checking it out earlier today. But Andrew, the CEO of Hims, also made a post about this. The white paper highlights like the methodology of how they conducted the tests, all the specifics with regards to side effects, with regards to weight loss, and all of the personalization aspects that Hims is offering with their solutions. So really cool that they're doing independent research, and really cool that, they're basically proving out their case, right? To say personalization is better for the end consumer, and therefore it's imperative on our part to offer that personalization, because at the end of the day, we're here to improve the lives of the users. And the fact that they dropped it on the same day that Novo reported, negative 20%, cherry on top.
I love it. Yeah. I think the most important, or the thing that was most important to me anyways, of that study was the retention rate after 6 months. I think it was above 75%. And compared to commercial, I think you scored a little too fast. I don't remember, but I think it was around 12% or 20%. Regardless, on the personalized compounded solutions, the retention rate was much, much higher after 6 months. I think that's very important because let's say you take 10 customers, right? And 7 of them stay with you versus 2. I mean, that's massive. Very, very overlooked and important in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys hit the nail on the head, right? I think this just shows further their personalized solutions and kind of what they're going for, right? And why we kind of bought the stock.
Yeah.
Long term, I think creating that stickiness, creating that, will help with LTV, will just drive user retention and kind of create that flywheel. That's exactly what we want, right? Because I think I saw as you were scrolling that, 25% then started looking at lifestyle and 10% looked into other things. And so it just creates like, oh, GLP-1 worked for me. What else can they do for me that would work?
Absolutely.
So it just creates that flywheel, right? So I think that's anchor. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly.
The flywheel, the big breakthrough moment, in my opinion, for the flywheel is going to be as they incorporate this at-home blood test.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people quite understand how massive this. And we talk about it like almost every episode, but I cannot overstate how important this is going to be. So I wanted to hear from management on earnings about when they plan on incorporating it or how they plan on incorporating it. But they can't release these testosterone and menopause, pretty much HRT, hormone replacement therapy products without the at-home lab testing kit. You need blood work to get that. So the amount of products that this is going to unlock is insane. The amount of stickiness and cross-selling they're going to be able to do is incredible. So you're going to have this app on your phone. You log onto it, has all your information, knows you inside and out, literally. And it'll keep you in the system for life. Let's say right now I need some hair loss treatment. Even I don't.
You need it badly, yeah.
I just buzz my shit. Let's say that I'm on Hims for hair loss. Okay, as I get older, I need some ED medication. All right, now I'm using hair loss and ED meds. All right, now I'm doing the blood testing, and my testosterone's starting to go down as I age. Okay, well now I'm gonna get on their TRT product. So now I'm using three Hims products right there. So this blood testing is going to make the ecosystem so much more vast and in depth and personalized. And I think Hims is really going to capitalize on two things over the next few years. One is going to be bringing artificial intelligence to healthcare, but two is precision medicine. And you can't have precision medicine without artificial intelligence, but precision medicine is going to be very, very important. I think it's going to become the gold standard, honestly, of healthcare.
That's what I said too. Once they get the at-home lab testing set up, like, I'll probably be my first product I use.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
Besides those EDs pills.
Keep in mind, like, the entire vision of the business, multi-year perspective, is going into preventative care.
Yeah.
You know, it's not necessarily to like address issues that are like reactive. It's preventative.
Yeah. Not just, making the sick feel better, but keeping the healthy. Yeah, I agree with you.
Thanks for looping me into that bucket, KZ.
Casey, this guy's yeah. Don't loop him in there.
Hey man, I worked more than you two combined today.
Oh my gosh, the smallest violin. Here comes the smallest violin again.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying.
What number Celsius is that, Tevis?
It's my second one.
It's not that bad. It's not even that bad.
I don't really drink 2 in a day, but yeah, just because of you.
All right.
Bro's gonna need some Hims hypertension meds in the future. He keeps that up.
You want to hop into Q2? Do our guys?
Sure. Yeah. So Hims reports earnings on Monday, August 4th after the bell, and we will be covering it live along with Roy. I'm not sure if Elijah said he can make it or not.
Maybe if I get out of my ride along early enough, then yes. But we'll see.
Hey guys, he's taking his driver test, so he has to do his ride along for his driver's ed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a fireman.
And so I think for the first time, between the three of us, did some earnings predictions.
Yeah.
And my number was apparently crazy.
No, it wasn't
apparently. It's realistic. Tevis, here's the problem. Your number is what helps fill the gap, right? And so you were just estimating what helps fill the gap. And so your estimate's actually
fill.
You're on the money.
Every group needs some irrationally exuberant person, or else it's not fun. And
you're the Tom Lee.
Yes, he is Tom Lee.
I will carry that burden for this group.
Fun strat, Tevis.
Well, on that, Tevis Lee, go ahead and give your estimates.
Yeah, so like I put okay. So I put
yeah, what'd you put for revenue, Tevis?
You can't even say it. Dude, be confident. Stick with your gun.
Do your non-revised number 2.
But I put 2.6 million for total subscribers, up from 2.36 million. So 39% year over year growth. I mean, in the past, Hims has put up here. I'll even throw up my numbers. How about that, guys? I'll throw up my chart so you can see the actual.
Yeah, please, guys. I have some charts
actual too. Year over years. Yes, I will. Hold on.
Well, I don't have year over year. I just
guys, unfortunately, I don't have charts.
So you're unprepared. This guy's a noob.
I'm not a chart guy.
This guy's a noob. All right, so non-personalized, I thought was going to be flat. And is that big enough? Can you guys see? Maybe.
Yeah, I think zoom in maybe a little bit, but I think it's not.
I think it's good. Yeah.
Okay. Let me hide this. Delete. Okay. How about that? So
yeah, cool.
Non-personalized, I said it was going to be flat, and then personalized, I said it was going to grow to 1.6, bringing the total to about 2.6. Almost 10% quarter over quarter, pretty in line with what they've done before, and then 39%. Like, yeah, obviously you're going to get diminishing growth rates, and the numbers are going to obviously change once Zava is integrated and accounted in their numbers, which is not going to be this quarter. But like, 39%, 38.4 is what they put up last quarter. All of last year, they were over 40% year over year for subscribers. So I don't think 2.6 is like insane. Here I put 62% as personalized to non-personalized subscribers. We know that this percentage has been increasing from 29 all the way up to 59 in the last quarter, and I put 62. And then here's where it got crazy, which is my 640 number. So I accounted for a sequential quarter over quarter increase, and it's 9% up quarter over quarter, 54 million additional quarter over quarter. And you look at the numbers that they've been putting up additional quarter over quarter sequentially, it's like the last 4 quarters, on average, they have more than 54 million that they've been putting up in terms of their growth rate. Now, obviously, the thing that this was a little bit tone deaf on, which the community was like, are you crazy? is that these quarters have strong GLP-1 revenue because GLP-1s have been basically introduced in like Q3. And so Q3, Q4, Q1 are all strong GLP-1, and they don't have the GLP-1 revenue here. And this is also why management themselves is guiding for like 550, and then analysts are guiding for 550. And my number, strictly going off of the spreadsheets, came off as really tone deaf, is because I didn't account for that step change down of the GLP-1 revenue rolling off.
Which is 100 million less than your guide, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that's, but my point is like, if you look at these charts and if you look at these growth rates that they've been putting up, this number doesn't seem crazy. And I know that if we were still in shortage, you all would be putting up this number.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100% without the but with context, this looks insane.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's where I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna pull these numbers back when we do the live stream, which is what I told you guys, and I responded in a couple of YouTube comments, because that's the piece that I think I missed was, oh, wait a minute, like these 3 quarters were really high quarter over quarter and year over year, because these 3 quarters in particular had GLP-1 revenue. And you can see the quarters prior to GLP-1 revenue was much more lower growth as a result.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And before we keep going, Tevis, you want to go across the board of what we each did for members and then each did for revenue and go down like that, or do you want to just do one at a time?
Sure.
I like that.
Let's do that.
All right, Elijah, what'd you do for members? I'm curious.
For members, originally it was 2.65. I revised. I'm the same as Tevis now, actually, with members and members split. 2.6 million, and then 38 non-personalized, 62 personalized.
So exactly the same?
Yeah. What did you get, Nate?
Cool.
I'm a bear. I did 2.488 million, so 122,000 net new ads. I did 1.5 personalized, and then 0.938 non-personalized, so still 62%, which actually, so I think personalized takes a big jump compared to you guys, at least compared to you, Tevis. You're at 61. I'm at, you're pretty much at 62. We're both at 62.
No,
I think.
But like, what did you? So I don't understand why you guys had such a big decline in non-personalized. Both you and Nate had the same thing.
Because I think because of compounded semaglutide, I think they're going to make a bigger push for personalization for other products and other.
Yeah, but like, not going to drop that much. Look at the historical drops that they've had.
I agree. That's why I revised my number, because Tev, I was on the phone with Tev, and he's like, "Dude, your numbers are like completely erroneous. Like, you need to..."
my non-personalized is only 938 mil. Or 938,000. So it's only 60,000 less.
Sure. I mean, I guess fine. Cool. So I think we're pretty in line with subscribers. Yeah. And then revenue, since Casey is asking, because of the lawsuit and because of this BS with GLP-1s, what do you think it is now for revenue? So my number was still higher than what management is guiding for. I have it down here. So this is management's guidance. They're guiding for 530 to 550. But at the same time, like management, wait, where is it? It's somewhere here.
On that Casey, essentially lawsuits, it doesn't matter. Like for revenue, are they talking about revenue?
Yeah, they're talking about revenue. So here's also the analyst estimates, Casey, and the forecast from analyst consensus is about 550. And again, from management, I don't know why that like deletes, but from management, it's 530 to 550. So 550 is like the top end of the top end of the range for both analysts and for management.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still think it's going to come above that because historically they've been above that, just not 640 because 640 is just wild numbers.
Above 6?
No, I don't think it's going to come above 6 either. Like I think it's going to be about 585 to 595 range. Maybe even slightly lower than 585, like 580. I still think it's going to beat. I just don't think it's going to beat by that big of a margin.
Yeah, for me, so I just did on average or on a median, they beat revenue by 4%. And so I just applied around the same and to make it a little less because of seasonality. April and May are typically worst months for him.
So what did you have for total revenue?
561.
561.
We
So 561 would be minus 25 million quarter over quarter, minus 4% quarter over quarter, and
77% growth. Yeah, that's exactly what I have. Yeah, exactly.
I had 570 for the total revenue.
Okay, so 570 is what Elijah had. Yeah, so I would go 585 then. To take
Don't copy me, Tevis. Be your own man.
Range. So flat quarter over quarter, 85% up. Year over year. I think it's more realistic than what I had before.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, look, man.
I'm just joking.
if we had that GLP-1 number, my number would be like 700.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
I think gross margins will tick upwards. KZ says 542 was my guess. So historically, like they've always beat revenue. So over 550 is a pretty good guess.
Well, they've always beat the midpoint of their revenue guide. I think there was 1 or 2 quarters where they just met their top line.
Well, it depends.
The 542 would still be a beat.
They've always beat analysts, and for them to continue to beat analysts, it'd be the top end of their guide. 549.87 is like they're guiding 550.
Right.
So they would need to beat 550 in order to continue that streak of beating. Now, the real question is quarter over quarter decline or quarter over quarter increase. I think if they come in at like 590, that would be very, bullish because it would be a quarter over quarter increase. Mm-hmm. But, I think it's more realistic to expect like, 565, 570, 575, something.
Yeah, if they come anywhere over 575, I would be surprised.
Yeah. Anything above 550, in my opinion, honestly, like I'd be enthused. But they also didn't raise full year guidance in Q1, which I was a little like iffy about. But so we'll see how the results come in.
So let's answer this. How would we value the stock with these consensus numbers? Like it's almost baked into the cake right now that they're going to beat on their earnings or at least their revenue number. So what does that do really to the stock? Because all of a sudden, let's say, in fact, we get 570 and then they put up an 80% growth rate and people are like, wait a minute, they had 111, they had 95, now they have 80, panic sell.
100%. Yeah, I think if they don't come in with a massive surprise beat, it's probably just going to be a sell-off or just stay flat. Like it's going to have to be a massive surprise for it to actually pump.
Well, I also think it also is going to determine, what does management say during the call, especially about GLP-1s, because that's all the market cares about when it comes to HIMSS. We'll be listening to that, but we'll also be listening to new product launches, the Tribe Labs Incorporation HRT launch. So I think GLP-1s is still the topic everyone wants to hear about. So we'll hear what management says about that.
What I would say is probably Sageg is like if they don't beat or if they beat by a small amount, they are probably going to fall because there's a lot baked in. Like there's a lot priced into the stock. But if they do reach a quarter over quarter increase, so over 586, I think the stock could pump because the majority of people that I've been seeing are expecting a quarter over quarter decline. And for them to have a quarter over quarter increase without the GLP-1 segment being as strong as it was is pretty
massive. Yeah,
I do agree with you though, Tevis, at 74%, but I think it's going to stay flat or go up a little bit. They mentioned it on the last call too that they expect gross margin to uptick a little bit throughout the year. Yeah, so I think it'll go back up to 74. 75 I could see too, but I don't think much more than that.
Yeah, and I appreciate this. I didn't want to make a full other video being like, oh, I'm revising my number. Here's why. And I just I appreciate being able to do it on a live stream. and sort of explain my rationale of like how I came in so high. Yeah, imagine being upset about 75% revenue growth. Yeah, dude, you're going to be upset about 75% revenue growth when you're expecting 85 or 95.
Yeah, when you're priced for 85.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
What
What
did
you
you
put?
2025 price target? Let's do that at the end,
Yeah,
Charlie.
I'm
So
doing that.
we'll answer that at the end. Shall we continue down here, Nate? What do you think?
Yeah, let's do Adjusted EBITDA. Go ahead.
Did you guys do gross margins at all?
Yeah, I just mentioned I think
I think
73,
I did
74%.
75%, same as you.
75?
Yeah, I think we'll see a small uptick, which is
Right.
which is nice because it's been going down for the past like 8 quarters.
Yeah.
Okay. Adjusted EBITDA, I put 88 million.
I'm at 77.42 million.
I'm at 72.
hmm.
So my Adjusted EBITDA margin is 13.8%, which is a little bit higher on than their guide.
Well, I mean, that's what I sort of based mine off of, the margin, but mine's off 560, so that's why the margin's off.
I think mine was like right in the middle of their guidance for adjusted EBITDA.
Yeah, so like my adjusted EBITDA would be closer to 80 off 585
Yeah, pretty close. We're pretty similar to it. I think we both are doing 13.8 basically.
because yeah, I was basing it off of like what is the margin range that we can expect, and going from there.
They got it between 11 and 13, right, Elijah? I think the Adjusted EBITDA margin guide was between maybe 12 and 13.
I don't remember what percentage they got it for. I remember the amount was, I think.
Yeah, I think they got it for 12 to 13%.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 65 to 70. No, it was 65 to 75 million.
That's
what it
what I remember. Yeah. Okay.
That's what they got it for, and I went a little above a 77.4 million. So I think they beat it by a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think when you're doing these numbers, it's going to be, it has to be a mix of what is the range that we can expect, obviously baking in somewhat of a drop off, plus what is the catalysts for the business. And I think the thing that I missed in the first pass was over indexing too much on the numbers historically and under indexing on the catalysts, which are going to dictate those numbers, right? So it's the same process. It's just what weighting do you put on those two factors?
Yeah.
And then the gap net income here, I had 44, but that's also, again, I was basing, like it all is going to go from top down all the way down.
That's
So
still pretty low though. I think that's pretty low net income margin.
Well, yeah, I was expecting a lot of expenses acceleration. Their expenses have been accelerating in recent quarters. Here, I'll throw up the chart for
Because I actually had 43.5.
Uh-huh.
Income.
I had 46.74.
Oh, well, look
We're
at you.
all pretty much in the.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty close. Besides revenue, there's somebody was an outlier in revenue.
Yeah.
So look at this operating expenses. Obviously, sales and marketing is a big chunk, but operating expenses has been increasing, and so that's something to also keep into account, especially if they're bringing on an entirely new management team. Then that's something that's going to cost them, right? Because like the CTO is going to have his own VP is going to have his own team, and it's like it's going to cost them a lot of money from R&D perspective, obviously sales and marketing, and that's going to be able, like, less is going to trickle to the bottom line as a result of that.
Yeah, and that's why actually.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, my bad. That's why my EPS is actually a lot lower than yours, Tevis, even though net income's the same. It's because I had shares outstanding or diluted shares outstanding growing like 8.5% year over year, like accelerating because of all these new hires. And so my EPS is actually what is it? It's 17 cents.
Yeah, I think analyst consensus is 15 cents. So you can see 15.4 here where my mouse is.
Yeah.
And 20, I think, is aggressive. This 34 cents was an outlier.
Yeah. I forget why. Well, they had
That was like a tax benefit or.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because these are GAAP numbers, right? So I think non-GAAP, this was like 9 or something, 9 cents. So it goes like 5, 6, 9, 11. Then 22, obviously, this is a mega quarter. I think we're going to see a drop down, 18, 19 range.
Yeah.
I think what would 18 be? It would be like.
That's not pretty good. It was 18.
Maybe like 38. Yeah, 39. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at 17.1 cents is my EPS.
Yeah.
because I have shares outstanding and going up to 256 million.
So, and then I think, on the call, then there was like 4 main catalysts that I had here that they could talk about. Let me see if I remember them. One of them was the Zava acquisition and what they paid for Zava. My estimate was under 300 million, 300 or under. The other was what they plan to do with international expansion. Obviously, announcing new products like testosterone is the other one. The other catalyst is, them providing a little bit more color on this Novo lawsuit or what that might look like. Let me pull this down and see if I can find my notes. And here we go. So I'll just throw this up again.
Yeah, I think all of ours are probably pretty similar because I'm pretty sure I had mainly the same things. On the testosterone and menopause, I just want to see more of like, oh, we're bringing it out. I want them to talk about more of like a roadmap.
Yeah, exactly.
Along with it, rather than just saying, oh, we're coming out with it in second half of 2025. I want to see more of a roadmap.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know what they paid for Zava. I think it's over 300 million, not by a lot, but I think it's 350, and that's just because I want to be surprised with it being under. I'm trying to make it really conservative, and so I hope it's under 350. If they paid over 350, I feel like it's pretty.
Well, I think their cash on hand right now is what, like 340, something like that. Let me pull it up, and it's right up there.
So I have it pulled up.
Cash on hand 274, but when you add the 48,
Well, also the billion in debt they got, or the billion in cash. I mean, not in debt.
In cash, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for those $1 billion for the shares. Yeah,
exactly. So they definitely have the cash for Zava on hand. Like, that's not a problem. Yeah. To Nick's comment, shares outstanding. SBC is somewhere here, I think.
I literally was looking at Visual Stocks too. I love this platform.
I was gonna say, what platform is this?
This is Visual Stocks. It's great.
Okay.
So yeah, anyways, going back to this, these are the 4 main sort of catalysts I'm looking for management to address. I want Andrew to talk about them on the call. And I think they will, quite frankly, because just the market being where it is and the Novo partnership being so high profile that they kind of have to address the compounded semaglutide risks, even though they have commented in the past saying that they're doing everything, per the law.
Yeah.
I think analysts are going to ask the questions.
I think I also want to see the last quarter was the first quarter they ever put compounded GLP as a percentage of revenue. It was 39.9%. And so if that does go up to 41% or 42 or drop down, either way, I would like some commentary on how they view their business going forward. Like, because core growth is slowing, right? And so there is a dependency on GLP. And so I'm hoping that analysts are good enough, unlike the SoFi analysts this morning that I heard they were brutal, that actually asked a good question about that core growth slowing.
Don't get me started on the analyst this morning.
Dude, that was so funny. Because I don't even own SoFi, but I just listen to the call for fun. And those
thank you, Dookie. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I want to hear about obviously the Zava, how much they paid for Zava. What I think is important for the stock price is going to be the compounded GLP-1 news.
Yeah.
Maybe they touch on litigation, touch on Novo. Definitely want to hear about that. For me as an individual, I'm excited for the launch of the testosterone and menopause. I mean, if we don't get testosterone announced during earnings, it's fine. I think it's going to come sooner rather than later because, like I said, they have already started teasing it.
Yeah, they started teasing it, right?
Yeah,
I saw that marketing on their Instagram.
Yeah, they already started teasing. So, but I assume if they're already teasing testosterone, that means that these blood kits are going to be going to patients' homes soon. So that's very exciting in my opinion.
I'm with you on that. Do they typically release products during earnings calls? I know SoFi usually does. I don't think they do, right? It's usually they have. Okay.
Well, I mean, it makes sense strategically because it gives the management a chance to talk about it.
Yeah. Because it's also like Elijah was just saying, it gives them the ability because we also saw at-home testing on the site saying coming soon. We're seeing the teasing testosterone. And so I feel like it's just going to be one big massive drop of here's our at-home testing. Testosterone's coming in, September of 2025. I think that'd be sick. As a prospective customer, that makes me excited because that actually might be the first product to buy is at-home testing.
Yeah.
They're gonna get us two in the ecosystem with that announcement. So
They genuinely would. So, which I'd be pumped for.
Yeah. Well,
but-
so let me then jump into this. And by the way, thank you, Doogie, for $1.59 more, and I can buy myself a share of Hims on your behalf.
Dude,
Speaking of, Charlie is asking, what's y'all's 2025 price targets, and do y'all look as far as 2026 for price targets? I would love to get to that question, but before that, let's talk about where we think the stock is going to end up after earnings.
Ooh.
Then we can go
Want to
25.
make like an
and
official
26.
guess?
I thought you were gonna say, but first, an ad.
No, I mean, like it sort of makes sense for us to talk about it because the implied volatility is like plus minus 20% on this one. It's going to be incredibly volatile, and it also Dookie Pie, thank you for the 50.
Holy shit!
I wasn't
he
serious.
loves money so much. He gets donations. He just can't stop smiling.
Dookie, I want to share. I want to share. I want to share.
Yeah. Where's my third?
Appreciate you, Dookie Pie. So implied volatility is like plus minus 20%. We need to know where the stock is going to close because this week it could close like at 60, at 50, or anywhere in between, or even outside of that range, quite frankly, by the time it goes into earnings next Monday. So those are the two things. And then number three is really there's so much baked into this from a lawsuit risk perspective, as well as like a growth being priced in perspective. So I can argue either way. Like you could say, well, the lawsuit risk is too overblown and this thing is going to pump, or you can say that the, comparable periods are too hard and this thing's going to dump.
Yeah, I think we run a little more this week, and without any bad news coming out, I think we run to like 62, 63, and then so I actually predict we'll be 57.85 at the end of earnings. I think we'll drop 5 to 10%
So precise.
after earnings.
Wait, did you say 57.85?
Yeah, I think we'll drop 5 or 10% because we're probably. It always does this. It runs up into earnings and usually sells off.
Yeah.
So I think it'll run up to like 62, 63 and sell off $5 or $6, which is around 8 to 10% after earnings.
I'm gonna predict the opposite. I think, especially if they announce these new product launches, I think the market's going to be excited. So I'm going to predict a 10 to 15% move up.
Wow. Okay. Good. What do you think, Tevis?
I know, dude.
Guy's fed up. He's had enough.
Yeah, he's like,
it can go anywhere. Honestly, like I think that. Let me take a look at what the last earnings, like the last couple.
Last earnings was where it actually ran out after.
It was like the short squeeze, right? And then big earnings after.
Because they had blowout earnings. They it was like they guided for 540 and made like 586 or something ridiculous. So it went up like ran up a lot after.
No?
Let me throw this up for you guys, and then we can all take a look together. So here we have the chart.
Yeah.
And you can see where the earnings are. So in November, this was the first earnings I actually caught of Hims and Hers. Actually, no, I joined right after the August earnings.
I was the same with you. My first earnings was Q2 of 2024. Was my first.
I was buying them $13 range, which is
same. My average used to be 60. Now it's like 33.
I still have an account where my average is like 16, and I kind of don't want to average up on it because it looks.
Yeah, that's fun.
It looks cool.
So here they went up. I mean, obviously here they dropped off massively. Like they dropped off a cliff from 48 to 35 at the bottom, and they closed the day off, 39. But this was also, keep in mind that this was the earnings where the compounded semaglutide came off shortage literally a day before earnings, if you guys remember that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was like the weekend before earnings.
Of course, too.
And they just dropped it after hours. And so that's why you see these massive drops, because compounded semaglutide came off shortage. Stock fell all the way down to $23. And then guess what happened? Hims reported that massive Q1 that I just showed you guys on the spreadsheets. Yep. They reported triple-digit growth across the board. I can even bring up the press release for you if you want. Just fantastic numbers. Stock pumped again to here. And then this drop was the Novo partnership. And of course, as we know, we did fill that gap. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And now we have next earnings.
I see gap. Gap must fill.
Dude, sometimes it is just as simple as that, Elijah. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. We are just Degenerate Peeps.
So Tevis, what do you think? The stock went up or down after earnings? We need your financial advice right now. Calls or puts?
Cash your puts and covered calls.
Gun to your head.
I have both open right now. I have covered calls and cash secured puts going
Dude,
over.
those 100s, 105 are such easy money. My God, they're up like 80% already.
They're up. Mine are up like 60% already. So stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
I could see them falling. I could see them falling, but not as much. I could see them falling and just bouncing off this like $40 range, and just chilling here. I could see this like in the low 40s. So probably what I'm going to end up doing, and let me throw up a poll and let me see what our audience thinks.
yeah, I actually think I'm gonna go. I think it'll be the first time in a long time that the stock is essentially flat after an earnings. Just because I feel like they're guiding for lower quarter-over-quarter growth, and they're probably going to meet it a little bit and maybe exceed it by a little bit. I don't think it's going to blow up top or going to miss by a lot. And so I think it's just going to be like, oh, they got it. They hit what they got it for. Cool.
Oh, Brock Capital. Thank you for the $50. Replenish your Celsius stockpile. Yeah, I'm on my second one today because of these two degenerates. So thank you very much for that.
The cash secure put God calling us the degens.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you pulling up?
I'm not pulling up anything. I'm just saying that
Are we going to do our year-end price targets?
Hold on. What were we saying right before this? I was saying it's going to bounce off the $40 range. Oh, yeah. How I'm trading it. Actually, let me read this first. Sagig says, predicting the price after earnings is super hard. More interesting. What is your price expectations for 1 to 3 years? And that kind of falls in line with Charlie's question. Okay, so let me first go how I'm trading earnings, and then we can talk about 25 and beyond. So, and I want to bring this up because I want to get you guys' thoughts, is I really want to close out all of my cash secured puts over earnings. I have September 19th right now at $55, $45, and $40 per share. The 55s are obviously the most in profit because I wrote those when the stock was at 48.
That's so degen.
And I kind of want to close all of them. And I think that by the end of this week, if we have like another green day, all of them will be like 60 to 70% profit.
I think that makes the most sense, dude. Going into earnings like this, like I feel like, yeah, that makes most sense, especially with GLP-1 news. And like Andrew could say anything where they go that the market just doesn't like, whether it's aggressive GLP or like kind of, just not, they're not going to like it because it's GLP. And so I think it could sell off easily and tank 20%, and your CSPs are going to be underwater. So I mean, taking a 60-70% gain is not a bad idea.
That was the layup. The real question is, I was kind of thinking about selling my leaps. And
for 2026 or 27?
I have 2027s.
I wouldn't sell them
with that or no?
Hold on.
I wouldn't sell 27 leaps, honestly.
Let me check. Because I think I have both. I got to check what I have. I have January 2027, $30 calls and $37 calls.
I wouldn't sell them, honestly. Personally.
Why do you want to sell them?
But it's not my money, so.
Well, I did. So I sold half of them when SoFi was in the $70 range, and I bought half of them back in the $30 range, and I sold half of them again right before the Novo news. Total luck, by the way. And I don't know, man. Like they're a stupidly large position for me to be holding in leaps in my portfolio, and so it just like kind of makes me a little bit nervous the longer I hold them. But they are January 2027, so I have a full year on them.
So then the layup here is, what's your 2026 price target? Because that'll help you know if you want to keep them or not.
Great segue. Yeah, no, that's a great segue.
I feel like that's the easiest way to figure out if you actually want them or not. Because for me, I've already tweeted or talked about my price targets. For me this year, $75, which is around like $18 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And for 2026, it's $125 this year.
Yeah, I think for myself, like I've already been on the record multiple times talking about all-time highs and $100 for this year. I still think that's on the horizon. Obviously, the lawsuit puts a damper on it, but I mean, the stock is at $60 right now. I think it can hit 100 by the end of the year. And if you don't believe me, just look at the past, 3 months or whatever. Like it's up 150% year to date. And it's the most volatile thing you've ever seen in your life. Like it swings 10% like nobody's business up or down. It has 35% short interest and they're putting up amazing growth rates. Now, what I will say is that they have tough comparable periods from their earnings perspective. So that might really, put a little bit of damper on things, especially if the lawsuits escalate. But I still think they can hit $100 because it's all air after $73. Like you're going to face some resistance in the high $60 range because that's where it's been rejected before. But once you cross there and you cross $72, like you're going to have price discovery, you're going to have new accumulation, you're going to have, and you're seeing it happen with so many names. You're seeing it happen with Palantir, you're seeing it happen with Robinhood. It's like they reach these prices they've never reached before, and you have buyers stepping in to keep buying.
Yeah, for me, mine's purely on fundamentals. Like by the end of this year, they'll be doing almost $2 billion on a trailing 12 month, and that puts them giving them like a 7 or 8 price of sales, which they already trade at, puts them at a $17.5 billion market cap, which is $75. And I have them growing 45% next year, and that puts them at $3.5 billion in revenue, and that's at a 7 8 price of sales, $25 billion, which is 120.
Oh yeah, I think the full year
revenue, I think that's fair value for me. At the end of the year, $75. Right now, I think we're around fair value, but I think for the end of the year, based on how they're growing.
Yeah, I mean the full year revenue estimates for this year are just complete sandbags. In my like what 2.3 to 2.5 billion. Like I think that 2.4 billion. Yeah, I think they're going to come in at like 2.7, 2.8. Realistically speaking,
I don't think so, dude.
I'm okay. Fine. I'll meet you in the middle, 2.6. And then next, like I think the 2030 numbers, like
that is a sandbag. I would.
Hold on. $2,000 a share by 2030.
What is it?
$2,000 a share by 2030. It's a lock. We're gonna get the Sydney Sweeney commercial.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. Are you that guy? I forget that guy's name.
Oh, Elijah, you're an early Palantir investor. You are right about everything.
Okay. What was that kid's name? Something with D.
Christian Darden.
Shots fired. Boy.
Yeah, dude. I was like, what in the clickbait did I just walk in?
Yeah, I saw that comment.
Anyway, so I think $100 by end of 2025. Guys, lock it in.
It sustains it though, or do you think it just hits it and comes down?
I think it hits it.
So I think it sustains 75. I think we get to 75 and that's fair value and it should stay there. Well, I think it could hit 150 on a short squeeze.
I could see it. I think the 73 is going to become like strong support after it crosses. So, yeah, man, my price target, SoFi all-time highs, which is 28.50, and I think HIM's all-time highs, which is $100, is my price target. So we'll see what happens. We need a rally towards the end of the year. I think we can have it. Rates still have not come down. That's the thing you have to keep in mind. Rates still have not come down. For everybody who thinks that this rally is overdone, it's exuberant, it's irrational, it's going to pull back, rates have yet to fall.
And record cash on the sidelines.
We're getting trade deals. We're getting macro tailwinds. We're getting the China tariff pauses. Like there's so many things on the macro to make you bullish. Now, do I think we're going to have a pullback in 26? Absolutely. But it's not going to be in 25 is my bet. I'm a degenerate. Don't follow me into this trade.
So what's your 2026 price target? And then Elijah, sorry.
Well, my year end is around $80 to $85. But if Tevis is so confident about 100, why don't you sell some covered calls around 100 for year end?
I do have 105. I'm not going to sell it. No.
Do us all a big favor. That way the share price is guaranteed to go over 100 this year.
I think that in 26, I could see it mid hundreds, like 150. Like at some point it has to, like it goes on a massive run and then it has to like plateau and catch its breath a little bit.
I think he's asking, he attached his other comment where it's like, do you think shorts will leave the stock? Do you see it in 2026 or 2027?
Sorry. Oh, hold on.
I think it's detached.
When do you think shorts will substantially leave the stock? Not date. What conditions do you see to cause that will pump the stock, even if not a squeeze?
It's going to have to be the lawsuit risk, I feel like, going away. But
I feel like a lot of the shorts are currently big pharma companies or think like
really
propped up by big pharma. That's like my tinfoil hat. You know, it's 10 p.m. I'm fried, but like we already know that there's a lot of behind the scenes going on. And like, I just take note from SoFi, dude, because like in the single digit ranges, a lot of the short sellers were the banks. And the moment that they made money on the way down, and the moment that SoFi was like, they couldn't hold it down anymore, that the results were just too good, then what happened is they all upgraded their price targets and they all went long and they all increased their institutional holdings. And so I think we're going to see something very similar happening here. When do they leave? I don't think you're going to wake up one day and the short interest is going to be like single digits. I think it's going to be a gradual decline as the stock continues to ascend. I think if they can hold the new all-time highs and they hold $100 range, whatever, and the fundamentals are backing it, they're consistently beating their numbers. They're expanding into new geographies. They're expanding into new product lines. Then the short interest is gradually going to decline. I think right now it's very high because of the lawsuit risk is front and center, but we have to see a plateau before it starts to decline. And
I think
rise.
I also take a game out of Palantir's book where they were shorted heavily when they were in single digits, and just gradually over time as the stock moves up, people come out. I don't think it's going to be like short just goes from 34% to 10% in a quarter. Like it's going to be 34% to 32%, 27% over time as the stock and the company just keeps improving fundamentals. Like it just kind of naturally progresses that way. And so I don't think we see under 10% in short interest until like 2028, 2029.
Wow.
I think it's also going to be somewhat correlated with institutional ownership. As institutional ownership keeps rising, short interest is going to keep falling. Because it speaks to a layer of legitimacy that you add into the investor base that you're building.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to be a slow decline, but we're going to have to get off of this GLP-1 narrative because I feel like that's still how the market views a company, as just a compounder. It's just a GLP-1 compounder. That's all that HIMSS offers, so how they view it. So we're going to need some litigation risk to come down. And I think that will happen once we expand into different verticals with the blood testing. I know I keep talking a broken record, but another thing that I don't talk about too much because I don't want to say it's reaching, but peptides is also going to be a huge market. GLP-1s are a peptide. Never really understood that well. I have some friends on peptides. I've seen people online take peptides, have great results. That's going to be a massive market. But what I think is in a year or two, we're going to look back at these times and see how GLP-1 kind of controlled the narrative on this company, and we're going to laugh. And I think once that happens, once we get more diversified, once that, what'd you say, Nate? The GLP-1 as a percentage of revenue was 39%?
39.9%.
We're going to need to see that come down, and I think we'll see short interest follow.
That's fair. I think GLP-1s with the headwinds that they have right now with the compounding, as well as the new product lines that are starting up and scaling, I think it's very feasible to think that it's going to fall as a percentage of revenue.
Okay.
Shall we wrap there?
Yeah, I think so. That was a great episode.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Catch us Monday after the bell. Actually, we're probably gonna go online before market close so that we can actually react to the report. We can react to the market close, and then later react to the call. So probably around 3:50, I would say 3:50, 3:55 ish. Where we will watch HIMSS earnings together. It's going to be really fun. We've done this before. It's always really, really fun. The call is energizing, just watching Andrew field these. And quite frankly, I think a lot of times analyst questions, as dumb as they are on HIMSS calls as well, are like kind of more informed than on SoFi calls that I see. But KZ, thank you for being here for the first time. Hope to see you on Monday, August 4th.
All right.
See y'all. Bye.
Peace, everyone.
Yep.